Yes, 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 yes.
Hello.
Hello, world. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Campus Connection. Brought to you by, of course, Heart NSTA Trust. Skill is power. I am Jonathan Fletcher, and with me is my co host.
And Nesta Samuels. And before we go any further, we just want to hear from our sponsors and we'll be right back.
Jamaica and its workforce are advancing quickly. Life changing opportunities are arising. You need training and support. We are the Renewed Heart NSTA Trust, committed to providing new and emerging skills training and opportunities. Come to Heart. We'll help you claim your place in the workforce of the future.
Okay, we are at the campus nights. Students are stuck up in a pride. It's me,
All right, so you just heard from our sponsor, the Heart NSTA Trust. Skill is power, and we're so grateful to have them on board with us as we try to just bring a wider awareness to the education system and everything that's happening. And I'm excited about today's show, Jonathan, because we're
Mm-hmm.
dealing with teacher rotation and retention.
Yep.
And you've said this many times on previous episodes, the fact that your mom is a teacher or was a teacher, and
Mm-hmm.
you're very familiar with a lot of the challenges that teachers go through. So I would say this is about to be an interesting discussion: preventing teacher burnout. Do you feel like, is that something you've experienced even just watching your mom?
Absolutely. Let me firstly say that I don't think one episode is enough
Ah!
for this kind of topic, but it's a good start to really start the conversation
Mhm,
concerning this. Um Burnout is real. I've seen it, I've experienced it. I'm glad my mother is no longer in the classroom.
mhm,
But when she was, I could
mhm,
really see that this thing really takes a toll on you. As a matter of fact, funny story, I was
mhm,
talking to one of my friends today,
mhm.
and she was in the classroom while she was on the phone with me,
Yeah.
and she was reprimanding a student, and so she
Mhm.
went into teacher mode,
Right?
and it was like, oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry, you just hear that. My teacher said, I was like, just so you know, your teacher side is your regular side now.
Oh my.
So
Oh
it's
my.
like it becomes a part of their persona to the point where they don't realize that they're talking to you as if you're a student in a particular
Exactly.
tone and all of that. So I'm interested. I'm interested to really, you know, hear what today's show will bring.
Absolutely. You're definitely onto something with that. I too have a few friends who are teachers, and sometimes you have to remind them this is not one of the kids in the
Yeah,
classroom.
yeah,
But yes,
yeah.
certainly going to be an interesting discussion. But before we get there, we have our education news and bulletin. We also have a
Hmm.
special interview with Danae Sims of the UTech Spiritual Energy Blaze 2025 team. And we have for you guys the I Chose Christ feature presented this week by Kiona Bryson of Wilmer's High School for Girls. So, quite a
Hmm.
bit coming up in the show. It's going to be fun. You definitely want to stay with us. And we even want you to go ahead and start thinking about this question. We want to know from you, can teacher rotation benefit their professional development? And can it prevent burnout? What are your thoughts? Do you think that if they were to rotate the teachers a bit more, have them working in different areas, different responsibilities, would that help teachers to not feel so overwhelmed? You can hop onto our live stream. We are live on YouTube, on Facebook, on TikTok at Love 101 FM Jamaica. And you can also reach out to us on our studio lines. That's 876 968 8327 or 876 968 8328. You can also reach out to us on WhatsApp at 876-997-3125. Can teacher rotation benefit professional development and prevent burnout?
Yeah, very interesting topic we have dealing with here. And we know that in the promo you would have heard that DeVry University would have been a part of the program this evening. Unfortunately, that will not be the case. But we still have a very good lineup for this year, and we're really looking forward to what for this show. Why am I saying this year? For
I
this
don't know.
show.
Maybe. I don't know.
But yeah, I wanted to pause. I wanted to share the live stream with somebody. Get on the phone, send a WhatsApp message. Hey, let persons know that campus connection is on. Right? Make sense?
Yes,
Cool,
makes
cool.
sense.
So let's go straight into education news and bulletin. And this will be done by Ashara Barnett, student at University of Technology, Jamaica.
Education news and bulletins for Tuesday, March 25, 2025. NCB Foundation provides $7.8 million to pay exam fees for 1,310 students. A total of 1,310 students will be sitting Information Technology in the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate CSEC exam and Computer Science in the Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Exam CAPE this year will have their fees fully paid. The NCB Foundation, through its CSEC CAPE National Bursary Program, has provided a grant of $7.8 million to subsidize the cost of these exams. Chair of the foundation, Talia Lin, handed over the check to Training and Client Relations Manager at the Overseas Examinations Commission (OEC), Noletta Case, during a ceremony on Wednesday, March 19 at Immaculate Conception High School in St. Andrew. Companies encouraged to provide internship opportunities for young people. In a call to action for businesses nationwide, the Multicare Youth Foundation is urging companies to provide internship opportunities for young people participating in its empowerment programs. The programs being offered through the EU Bridge project aim to fill the gap between education and employment, equipping young people with the skills, confidence, and experience needed to succeed in the workforce. Encompassing a holistic approach to youth development, participants have benefited from essential life skills training, vocational skills enhancement, cognitive behavioral therapy, mentorship, and innovative arts therapy initiatives. For our bulletins, University of Technology Jamaica Accounting Seminar 2024-25 presents its 16th annual conference under the theme From the Classroom to Boardroom: Navigating the Future of Accounting and Professional Success on Thursday, March 27, 2025 at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel in Kingston. The keynote speaker is the OCAJ President Eric Scott, and guest speakers include Raymond Campbell, Sharon Harvey Wilson, Michael Murrah, and Zafian Edwards Newman. The Jamaica Rugby Football Union is calling all churches, families, and rugby enthusiasts. Join them on Saturday, March 29, 2025 for the electrifying T1 Rugby Tournament for churches happening at GC Foster College. Come and enjoy a thrilling day of touch rugby action and fantastic company for free. Food and beverages will be on sale. Be part of this unforgettable celebration of faith, sportsmanship, and community spirit. Mark your calendars, Saturday, March 29, 2025 at 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. GC Foster College. For more info, call the Jamaica Rugby Football Union at 876-326-3639 or email admin@jamaicarugby.org. Don't miss this epic event. See you there. The Micah University College presents Micah Week 2025 from April 7 to 11 under the theme Leading with Integrity, Impact, and Innovation. April 7 is the General Assembly. April 8, Research, Spotlight, and Luminary Session. April 9 is Sports Day. April 10 is the Student Awards and the Glenn Owen Lecture. April 11 is the Founders Day Thanksgiving Service, Alumni Luncheon, and the Guild Fest. For further information, contact the Michael University College. That was all our education news and bulletins for Campus Connection. I am Ashara Barnett.
All
All
right.
right.
Thank you so much, Ashara, for bringing us the education news and bulletin. And now I believe we want to take a brief special interview with Miss Danae Sims. She is the religious coordinator of Hall B and the UTech Spiritual Energy Blaze 2025 team member. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the show, Danae.
Thank you for having me, Anseta and Jonathan.
Awesome. Awesome.
I
And set up. Love it. We love it. We love it. I love that one. Thank you, Danny. Thank you so much.
I'm
Uh,
sorry.
no, that's
no.
okay. That's okay. We're just messing with you. But yeah, welcome, Danny. So, so,
Why you
so
had to
glad that
jump
you're
on that?
here. And set up, please. It's Danny's time right now.
Okay, okay,
All
go
right, I'm
ahead.
done. I'm done. But yeah, Daniel, welcome, welcome, welcome to Campus Connection. It's so good to have you here. But for those who are listening and they're wondering, what is spiritual NRG? Just in case you're wondering how it's spelled, it's NRG. What is that?
Thank you very much for asking. Spiritual energy, Blaze specifically, is a
Mm-hmm.
night art for intimate encounters with the Lord through worship in different art forms, including poetry, dance, singing, and yeah, that's essentially it, a night of praise and worship for persons to encounter God.
Hmm. So, what really is the purpose of this event?
The purpose is for us to draw close to God, to encounter Him deeply, to have that intimate time with Him where we can once again be still before Him. Or if it is that we had never been still before Him, be still before Him. For those who don't know Him, it's a time for persons to come and get to know Him through different segments. The segments are first praise and worship,
Mhm.
and then we'll go into four different aspects of God, focusing firstly on his heart, where we explore his character. Then we get into his presence, his glory, and finally in his image, where participants there will be enlightened on the fact that we are all made in his image for intimacy with him, and that's where persons can have the opportunity to give their lives over to him, or for persons who are Christians to recommit their lives to him.
Hmm.
Powerful, absolutely powerful. So, where will this event be happening? When? What can people expect as relates to costs and all of that?
All right, Spiritual Energy Blaze will be at UTech Students Union Activity Center this Friday, that is March 28th, 2025, at 7 p.m. Tickets only go for $800 for students. For non students, that would be $1,000 for tickets, and the gate price for everyone is $1,000.
Hmm. So, how
Okay.
can persons get in touch with you if they have questions, or even if they want to be a sponsor? How can they get in touch?
So they could get in touch via email or by my phone number for calls. Yes. So my email is religious coordinator at
Mm-hmm.
hallb, rather religious coordinator hallb at gmail.com, or my phone number is 206-4314, and that's for calls. We are definitely open to persons coming in, persons. The heart of Spiritual Energy Blaze is for everybody to just come and encounter God. So we are completely open, and we look forward to that amazing time in God's presence on Friday, God's willing.
Hmm.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Daniel, thank you so much for making a campus connection. There you have it, spiritual energy this Friday at the Student Activity Center on the campus of the University of Technology Jamaica. So if you want to be a part of that, that's something that you can go to. Nice go Friday night, vibe that you can be a part of. Daniel, thank you so much for being with us and all the very best for Friday and beyond.
Thank you
All
for
the best.
having me. Thank you very much.
No problem. All right. So we are just about going to a quick break, but you want to stick and stay with us for more Campus Connection after these messages.
It's all about the gospel. So tell you what bang campus.
Are you looking for unbeatable deals? Look no further. Fosrich is having a super sale. March 19 to March 30. Visit us in Kingston, Mandeville, Drexel, and Montego Bay. Discover amazing deals on hardware items, electrical items, chandeliers, flood lamps, LED bulbs, and much more. You cannot afford to miss this deal. Come shop and save at the Fosridge Super Sale. March 19 to March 30. Only at Fosridge. Open Sundays.
Share in the experience at Fontana Pharmacy. We have a wide variety of items in store just for you. Fill your prescriptions while you shop. And senior citizens enjoy 10% off. Shop household, cosmetics, toys, and many other departments. We also offer curbside pickup and delivery. Visit our website at fontanapharmacy.com. Fontana Pharmacy, where it's all good inside.
In Jamaica, your rights are protected by our Constitution. From the right to education to freedom of expression, every citizen deserves respect and dignity. But remember, with rights come responsibilities. Let's uplift and respect each other and stand against injustice. Together, we can make Jamaica a better place for ourselves and future generations. Know your rights. Embrace your responsibilities. This message was brought to you by the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs.
Jamaica and its workforce are advancing quickly. Life changing opportunities are arising. You need training and support. We are the Renewed Heart NSTA Trust, committed to providing new and emerging skills training and opportunities. Come to Heart. We'll help you claim your place in the workforce of the future.
Okay, where are the campus lights? Students are stuck up in a pride.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Campus Connection. If you're just now joining us, what? You're late. What? We have been just having a good time. We just spoke with Danae of UTech, and she was telling us a little bit about the spiritual energy concerts that will be happening this Friday at UTech. And now we're going into I call it my favorite feature of this program. It's called I Chose Christ. And in today's episode, we have Kiona Bryson, a Wolmer's High School for Girls student, and she'll be sharing her testimony. So listen in and be blessed.
My name is Kiona. I am a fourth former at Wolmer's. I am excited to share with you how God has transformed my life since I gave my heart to Him. At the age of 14, I made the decision to get baptized. It was an incredible experience, but what's even more amazing is the journey I've been on since then. Before I became a Christian, I struggled with self-doubt, anxiety, and feelings of insecurity. I often felt like I didn't fit in or that I wasn't good enough. But as I began to read my Bible, pray, and surround myself with positive influences, I started to see myself and my circumstances through different eyes. I realized that I was loved, valued, and created for a purpose. Over the past 2 years, I experienced God's faithfulness and love in ways I never thought possible. He helped me to overcome challenges, build meaningful relationships, and discover new passions and talents. One of the most significant changes I've noticed is the peace and confidence that I now have. I am no longer held back by fear, doubt, or insecurity. Instead, I am able to face challenges head on, knowing that God is with me every step of the way. If you are struggling with feelings of inadequacy, self doubt, or uncertainty, I want you to know that there is hope. God is real and He is waiting to transform your life in ways you have never thought possible. Don't be afraid to surrender your life to Him. He is faithful, trustworthy, and loving. And when you put your trust in Him, you'll discover a life of purpose, joy, and fulfillment that you've never thought possible. I chose Christ. You should too.
Amen. Jonathan, do you remember when you gave your life to Christ? wait,
Years ago,
Alphonse, have
years
you
ago.
given your life to Christ yet? Do you know the
Wow,
Lord Jesus?
wow, wow. But you see, people, this is what I'm talking about. I say
Uh,
unsetter behave. This is how unsetter is.
but yes,
Boy,
do you
it
remember
was
that
a
time?
beautiful years ago, from when I was a child, and it
Oh,
is single-handedly the best decision I've ever made.
yeah,
Can I say that again for those
yeah,
in the back who probably didn't hear? The best decision I've ever made. And I'm not
yeah.
saying that from only a spiritual standpoint or a religious standpoint, but my life decisions, they've been rooted in the word of God. And the truth is, and I'm going to say something that kind of going to sound that way, but the truth is, the principles of the Bible, if they're applied, whether you're saved or unsaved, you will reap the rewards. Not all of them, clearly, but there are a lot of them that you can apply to your life, and you literally see them working out for you. All right. If you want to debate that, we can talk off the air. But yeah,
Yeah,
is a fact though. The principles of the Bible are it's a roadmap, if you will,
yeah,
and once you follow it, you can't go wrong. Can't
yeah.
go wrong.
Yeah, I definitely agree that that is the best decision you can make in your
Mm-hmm.
life. Personally, I've experienced just the overwhelming joy and peace that comes from knowing Christ. And so if you're
Mm-hmm.
listening, I want to encourage you, please get to know him. Get to know him. He is real. He
Oh
is.
yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, what are we talking about
Just had
again?
to plug that. We just had to plug that
Yeah.
in right there because that's super important,
Doo-doo.
right? Campus sites, seek the Lord. But
Amen.
yeah, this evening show is all about teacher rotation and retention, right? And you
Mhm.
hear that, you're wondering, what's that about? So, teacher rotation and retention are critical topics in education as they directly impact the quality of teaching and learning. So, let's talk about the rotation part first. So this refers to the practice of moving teachers between schools or classrooms. While it can help distribute experienced teachers more evenly, it may also disrupt relationships with students and communities. Then we have retention, which is retaining teachers, which is a challenge worldwide essentially. So high attrition rates, especially among new teachers, are often linked to factors like workload, lack of support, and inadequate compensation. Strategies to improve. You see,
So
I
why
said
you
that
say that
strong.
was with such
No,
passion?
man, trust me. As a teacher's son, I know this all too well.
Oh.
Strategies to improve retention include mentorship programs, professional development, and fostering a supportive school culture. Right. So it's super, super important that we address these issues, not just when we see a massive migration taking place, but understanding that this is an ongoing thing that we have to pay special attention to. Our teachers are very, 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 very important. Teachers
Mhm.
can make or break you. So it's important that they are well compensated in good spirits. Hello? Right? Because if we do have a lot, if we do have money, you're not going to be in good spirits. Hello? Um, so it's important that our teachers are taken care. I, so let me ask a question,
Yeah.
right? Um, what would you say is the most impactful thing a teacher has ever done for you? You can think
Ooh.
of anything that comes to mind.
Wow. Um. So I would say the level of confidence that a teacher can give you to
Mm-hmm.
just know that you work hard in school and you do what you're supposed to do, but when you get that, I guess, affirmation, that push from a teacher, you feel like, okay, I really can do this. If this is the, I guess they're the first set of professionals that you deal with, who have credibility in
Mm-hmm.
whatever area they're teaching in. And if they tell you you're good at something, like I remember my Spanish teacher, my geography teacher
Mm-hmm.
at Merle Grove, just reinforcing that confidence in me, saying, you're really good at Spanish, you're really good at geography, you should consider really taking this seriously, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And in me hearing that, it just brought a level of confidence that made me want to work harder.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I believe teachers have a lot to do with even our perspective of ourselves, how we,
True.
the things that we decide we're going to take on later on in life, or ambitions or career paths. Teachers have a great role to play in that. What about you?
When I think of it, it's kind of twofold. So I've experienced both the positive and the negative, and I know that sounds weird,
I
right?
mean, we
But
all have.
sometimes, yeah, but sometimes for me, especially when it comes on to the negative aspect of things, I
Mhm.
try to take the good out of it or the positive out of it. So I've had, because oftentimes on my report card, I can't forget this,
Mm.
especially in primary school. Jonathan is an excellent student, but he talks too much, right?
And look at you
And
now.
hello, talking for a living. Hello. So, so the truth is, when we look at it from even the positive side of things, I remember Miss Hall from Insom City Primary School. Can never forget her. She
Mhm.
has played a very, very instrumental role in the man I am today. As a matter of fact, she moved with us from grade 2 to grade 3. So I guess that would be teacher rotation. See, Jermaine, I'm learning, teacher
Yeah.
rotation.
Okay.
Yeah. So she moved with us from grade 2 to grade 3, and she just took the time out to pour into us. I remember she would encourage me actually to talk more, because she's like, you have a very good way of expressing yourself, and a very, powerful way of reasoning out things
Look
and
at
all of
him
that.
head. Guys, come
I'm
on the
just
live
saying.
stream
I'm just
and
saying.
see Jonathan's head just swelling up. It's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Answer, please.
You know what? Let me stop because I
You
need
see, you
to live
can't run
down
it
this
up. You
name.
can't run it up. But yeah, she did a very good job in ensuring that all of us, um, we just truly, as you said, it brings a certain level of confidence
Yeah.
in you when teachers
Mhm.
can affirm in a very positive way and pull out
Absolutely.
some things that you don't even know existed. Powerful.
Yeah. And I think that just like you said, they definitely should be compensated. And but even
Mm-hmm.
more than that, I feel like a lot of teachers do struggle with just not feeling fulfilled from what they're doing. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of it might, I'm making an assumption here that a lot of it might come from just the administrative side of teaching. Like a lot of people get into teaching because they're genuinely passionate about a
Yeah.
subject area or passionate about being in the classroom. But then they realize there are all these other things that come with teaching, like
Mm-hmm.
the lesson planning and the meetings, and so those are the things that kind of weigh on their passion, that
Mm-hmm.
make it somewhat difficult and even sometimes overwhelming to do the thing that they actually love to do. So
Absolutely.
I feel
Absolutely.
like, yeah, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. No, man, you can go ahead.
I feel like looking not just at the financial rewards that they get, but also just the fulfillment of knowing that you're doing something you're passionate about. I feel like that's
Mm-hmm.
something that should be addressed too, you know?
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's true. But the more I think of it and the more I've experienced teachers in the classrooms, they
Mhm.
really do deserve the best, because we
Yeah,
all we go through school. So we've experienced a teacher at some point in time in our lives, and it's not easy dealing with 40 students, 30 students, 20 odd students, 20 odd different personalities, 30 odd different personalities.
exactly.
That's
Every
crazy.
day.
That's crazy. You
And
know?
the thing is, if they were just doing 20 odd students, it would be fine. But they're
Yeah,
doing 20 odd times 8 or 20 odd times
yeah.
9, depending on how
It's
many periods
crazy.
they have. That's
It
crazy.
really is crazy. So when you really think of it, teachers deserve all that and more. And we want to really get into that after we come back from this break. So I want you to stick and stay with us for more Campus Connection.
Where are the campus nights?
Are you looking for unbeatable deals? Look no further. Phosphorus is having a super sale. March 19 to March 30. Visit us in Kingston, Mandeville, Draxall, and Montego Bay. Discover amazing deals on hardware items, electrical items, chandeliers, flood lamps, LED bulbs, and much more. You cannot afford to miss this deal. Come shop and save at the Phosphorus Super Sale. March 19 to March 30. Only at Phosphorus. Open Sundays.
What are your financial goals? Consider who you are and where you want to be. Do you want to open your own business? Do you want to own a home? Invest in properties? Go back to school? Send your children to school? Then you have to save. But first, you have to have a budget. This financial literacy tip was brought to you by Bank of Jamaica, building an inclusive economy.
Jamaica and its workforce are advancing quickly. Life-changing opportunities are arising. You need training and support. We are the Renewed Heart NSTA Trust, committed to providing new and emerging skills training and opportunities. Come to Heart. We'll help you claim your place in the workforce of the future.
Where are the campus nights? Students are strapped up in a pride.
All right. Welcome back to Campus Connection here on the Family Station Love 101. If you're just joining us, we're talking about teacher rotation and retention. And funny enough, the friend that I was making reference to earlier on, she just sent me a WhatsApp message to let me know that both of us should be a part of the JTA. So I think it's now fitting to bring on none other than the president of the Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA, Dr. Mark Smith, to join us for the conversation, teacher rotation, or the practice of assigning teachers to different roles, and of course, teacher retention. Dr. Smith, greetings.
Greetings. How are you doing?
Welcome to the show.
Ah, this time I got both of you. Huh?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh boy, it's so good to have you.
Awesome. So talk to us a little bit about the Jamaica Teachers Association, their position as it relates to teachers rotation and retention.
All right. So let me first of all start out by saying that the verdict is in. There has been a gross underinvestment in education for many years, and it has finally come home to roost. Now, I don't can take any type of, comfort in the fact that this is not solely a Jamaican issue. This seems to be a global challenge. Presently, coming out of the United Nations report, the world is short 44 million teachers. That's a significant number. Of particular concern to the JTA, of course, is that between Europe and North America, that's 4.8 million teachers. I gave you some statistics. Florida alone has 162,000 teachers. They're short, meaning we don't have the supply here to fulfill their demands. And the truth is, we require the best, the brightest, the smartest teachers, the most experienced teachers to retain in our system, to continue to have an amazing impact on the students that we teach. And so there needs to be a strong dialogue, particularly in this crazy political season, when we at least get our politicians to talk about the investment that is necessary to transform the economic fortunes of Jamaica. The truth is, what we've been doing has just not been working. And so when you talk about any issue of teacher retention, strategy we need to take, it has to be with the broader context of the global teacher shortage. The fact that last year we had 500 teachers in excess of teachers going to United Kingdom. We had 730 going to United States. We're not even accounted for those going to Canada, Qatar, and other places that are also taking our teachers. And so, we are seeing significant challenges in terms of being able to improve our human capital stock. We have to really consider serious how it is that we're going to address this significant challenge. So the JTA, we have some ideas on how what needs to be done, and first and foremost, I think we have to start to recognize the importance, the significance of teachers, not just in that empty platitudes, in the type of empty words. Back it up with policies, with funding that, without any shadow of a doubt, recognizes the transformative impact teachers make in the lives of Jamaicans. And so, I always share this quote from John F. Kennedy: "Our progress as a nation can be no greater than our progress in education." And so there is a close link between the investment that we make in education, and we're talking about human capital, investing in the people of the country, and our ability to turn many of the wonderful macroeconomic numbers that we're looking at, into actual roaring, development. But you see, there is definitely a disconnect between what we are experiencing and what we experience. And so we are seeing consistently teachers leave year over year. You can imagine if in 1 year you're losing 500 to UK, 730 to the US. How much are you leaving over 10 years? And so we are really concerned about this. And I believe that the time is right. We're in an election period. I believe we really need to press our governments to make some significant, investment in the sector.
Wow. So many things to dissect, right there, Dr. Smith. But what I'd really want us to dive into a bit further is how this is possibly affecting our campus sites, seeing that, this is Campus Connection. We want to know, is there any correlation, if you will, with teacher retention, teacher rotation, to the performance of our students in the classrooms?
Well, certainly. What we do know is that the greatest impact you can have on learning is a highly qualified teacher before each child. And that is something that the JTA is deeply committed to. In fact, on Friday and Saturday of last week, we actually launched a Go Fund public education campaign. And that is a significant move in the right direction. And it's really a campaign designed to bring on board, and I'll share some of that literature with you. It's really about engaging the general population of the country. So let people start to connect the dots that we all have to get involved in this. And while teacher remuneration is a part of the challenge, it's a part of a much broader discussion, a broad discussion that understands that, where it is that you are not putting in place policies that support, what I consider a high quality of life for teachers, where you're putting in place quality, policies that are counterproductive to achieving the outcomes we want in terms of teaching and learning, then you start to see students suffer in the final analysis. And that is something that as an association we have fought very hard against. We want to ensure that all our children are able to realize their full potential. I'll share with you an instance I had a few years ago when a student looked at me and he just walked up to me and said, "Sir, we haven't had a stable physics teacher." And why? Because as soon as the physics teacher comes, they get a job and they leave. And so it affects the students when they're constantly halfway through the term, the teacher goes, or you start a year with no teachers and you talk to principals across the length and breadth of the island. You hear the stories of, you're running the ads repeatedly and nobody's applying for these jobs.
Right.
And that creates a problem. So then what we do is that we have to then invite an unqualified person to come in and attempt to teach. Teaching is as much a skill as it is a science. And, we have to understand that we can't our education is just too important to the trajectory of our country's growth and development for us to just depend on individuals who are untrained. I fundamentally believe that we have a responsibility, and any individual that seeks to lead the country, the parties that is in really need to start to put in place or at least come to the country with fewer strategic plans. I'm not talking about surface level plans that skirt the issues, plans that will significantly, impact this particular sector because it is directly linked to human capital development, which is linked to productivity. This is something that, if we get it right, we can have a transformative impact on the education sector. And while we're spending a lot of money sometimes, in various areas, we talk about STEAM, but we have to ensure that we also look at the conditions under which our teachers are working.
Yeah.
So that is another issue that is a push factor. Many schools are not properly, in terms of proper development has not occurred in terms of the infrastructure. And so they are many decades behind where they ought to be. And that is an issue that will be significantly as a challenge for many teachers, and it's caused many teachers to opt to leave. And you talk to them really about sometimes they may even break even because the conditions under which they have to work is sometimes so depressing. The conditions under which our children have to learn is the opposite of enriching. And so we have to find, the wherewithal as a country to mobilize, greater resources to be able to address this issue. I think nobody says it more eloquently than the United Nations Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, when he declared, just as teachers support us all, it's time for us to support teachers.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
That's profound. And as I'm listening to you, I don't know, I'm just reflecting on my own experience going through high school and then through college and realizing the I guess the battles that our teachers were fighting, but still showing up in the classroom and still making sure that we're really getting the most productive class session that we could. Now, as I'm listening to you, I'm realizing that a lot of them are dissatisfied with their current working situation. And what is it that you think, Dr. Smith, would should be put into place to ensure that teachers actually feel respected, feel like fulfilled in their role as educators in our nation? What steps should be taken?
Well, as I said, this is not something that is unique to Jamaica, and our colleagues overseas, Education International, has partnered with us on this full-fund education campaign. We've really outlined, and there are 59 recommendations coming out of the United Nations panel on what needs to be done. And so there's really a blueprint. And if you overlay that with a Patterson report, the solutions are staring us in our face. I think, for one, if we're serious about attracting, because retaining is one thing, but you have to constantly attract high quality candidates to enter the profession and continue to pursue higher level training. And so to attract and retain teachers, we need what I consider recommendations that will make the profession marketable to them. So one of them, I believe, and there's no way around it, ensure that you have competitive, fair, and professional salaries with teachers.
I'm sorry, you were breaking up just then. Can you say that again to ensure that?
Right. I'm saying one of the critical ones is to ensure competitive, fair, and professional salaries paid to teachers. So it should be within the confines of what similar professionals with the qualifications would earn. That pay penalty people take to come into education is like, if I went into that field, I could make significantly more. But because I've chosen to work with students to help to develop the future of the country, I must take a personal pay penalty. And that is something, there's a lot of research and literature around it. A lot of it is steeped in misogyny. Also, some people make it very, very uncomfortable about that.
Yes. Yes.
Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Yes. We have to go to a break though. Very interesting conversation and eye-opening, if you will. We're having here with Dr. Mark Smith, President of the Jamaica Teachers Association. I would so encourage you to stick and stay with us after these messages.
Life is on the go, but you got this Brunswick bone. Let's start with nothing made easy to prepare. Healthy, tasty, have it anytime, anywhere. Fuel your body day and night with the taste of the seaside. There's no challenge you can fight with Brunswick boneless sardines by your side. Life doesn't slow down, and neither do you. Brunswick boneless sardines are packed with omega-3 and ready to eat right out of the can. Try the hot peppers, the delicious olive oil, or the new spicy Thai chili on its own or on a cracker. However you like it. Brunswick boneless sardines. Snacking made easy, snacking made healthy, snacking made tasty.
Are you looking for unbeatable deals? Look no further. Falsridge is having a super sale. March 19 to March 30. Visit us in Kingston, Mandeville, Drexel, and Montego Bay. Discover amazing deals on hardware items, electrical items, chandeliers, flood lamps, LED bulbs, and much more. You cannot afford to miss this deal. Come shop and save at the Falsridge Super Sale. March 19 to March 30. Only at Falsridge. Open Sundays.
Out there, where are the campus nights? Students are strap up in a pride to be
Welcome back. Welcome back to Campus Connection. If you're just now joining us, we've been having a very interesting discussion with Dr. Mark Smith. He is the president of the Jamaica Teachers Association, and we've been talking with him about teacher rotation and retention. Now, just before the break, Dr. Smith, you had brought up a term that I have never heard in my life. And so, of course, I did what all millennials do during the break. I went to Google. And you mentioned teacher misogyny. And so, guys, if you have never heard this term before, it's talking about, okay, we seem to have lost Dr. Smith, but let me tell you what I found out on Google.
Mm-hmm.
So misogyny on a whole just refers to contempt and hatred and intentionally putting things in place to demonstrate that contempt, right? And so what he was suggesting or explaining is that there is a level of misogyny that's being directed towards our teachers. There are things that are being put in place to show that we as a nation do not really value our teachers. Now that is serious. That is
That is a lot to process,
I
actually.
know, and I so wanted to ask him some more about that, but I'm hoping we can get him back on. But he did mention, Jonathan, the same
Mm-hmm.
gripe that you have in terms of teachers just not being compensated.
Yeah, yeah. And I was even thinking earlier what would be a fair compensation for teachers. And it's so difficult to pinpoint what that could look like because teachers are literally working right around the clock, right? So, it's something to really look into. Dr. Smith.
Yes, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, brilliant.
So before the break, you mentioned a term. I believe it was teacher misogyny. Did I get that right?
Right. So, yeah, in essence, misogyny, because teaching has been for many years dominated by women. There is this belief that you'll always have, ladies to do that type of work. It's not attractive, and so it continues to pay lower wages because it's almost seen as taking care. It's taking care of children, it's babysitting, and that I think is part of what undermines the value of teachers. Interestingly, I was in South Africa the other day, and while I was there, I was talking to the head of the German, their education union. And I asked them, how are you dealing with the migration? Because they're in Europe. Europe's experiencing migration. They turned to me and they said, the young lady turned to me and said, I don't understand what you're saying. We don't have those problems. I said, your teachers are highly regarded in Germany. It's a job that many children, they aspire to be teachers.
Wow.
You go to Sweden, go to go to Singapore, you go to Denmark, and I'm talking about countries that if you look on the OECD ranking in terms of gross domestic product, these countries perform exceptionally well. You look at measures of quality of life, they perform exceptionally well. And again, it's an understanding that if you invest in teachers, you invest in students. If you invest in students, invest in teachers, and you invest in the country. And we seem not to fully appreciate that dynamic. Our greatest resource is not the sand, is not the sun, it's the people of this country. And we need to invest in them. We need to give everybody the shot to be everything they have the ability to be. In Singapore, Finland, Sweden, they take their teachers from the top 30% of their high school cohort. Right? That's how serious they take teaching. To get in, that's it. In England, the minimum qualification to teach is a master's degree.
Mm-hmm.
And again, people say, oh, but we can't afford it. When we get there, we will. And I keep on saying, you need to make the decisive decision, the transformational change.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, when you look at measures, for instance, percentage of GDP, 5% spent, against the backdrop of what we spend in the Caribbean, we don't look too bad. But the truth is, it's a lot more than that. We have to look at the per capita spend per child. And oftentimes, we are looking at the bureaucracy of government to run the bureaucracy of education. We have to look at how much of that money gets down to each student. All right? And so we have to start to look at that. I think that we have to be very creative because the truth is we are limited by the growth of the country's economy. So I am quite au fait of the macroeconomic numbers, what needs to be done in terms of economic management of the country. And I'm not proposing to be reckless, but I believe by strategically incentivizing the industry or the sector, we'll be able to spur in. The truth is that any labor market analyst will tell you that labor goes where the money flows. All right? So once you start to put money in a particular area, you're going to find that people are going to start to go into that particular area.
Yeah.
It becomes very important. While we look at income, we must always frame it in the context of what I call a quality of life discussion. Now, when you talk about a quality of life, it is people want money for what the money can get them. So the government may not be able to have all the money, but if you're able to, for instance, what I always talk about, quality of life, every teacher, I think that there are critical areas within our, public service, but every single teacher should have a pathway towards home ownership.
Yes.
One of the big things people go into careers and they eventually own a house. And so we should have a clear pathway to say, if you give this country X amount of service, we can discuss as to what that looks like 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. There's a clear pathway towards home ownership, and there are various models. Singapore does a fantastic job. I study their economic transformation, fantastic job in terms of how you could rent to own model is something we could look at. The other thing we can focus on is people also want the ability to be able to study. For too many teachers, it is a struggle. And I can tell you my personal path towards even getting a doctoral degree, but just starting to move from a diploma, which is what we used to get back in the day, to a bachelor's degree. I had to opt on which days I'm eating lunch. All right, it was that.
Wow.
You have to make you talk to teachers. It ought not to be, not for the people who are responsible for educating the entire nation, right? And so there needs to be a clear pathway towards being able to access, higher education. We also should be incentivizing teachers in some jurisdictions, and in some areas in Jamaica, we are giving stipends to people to do training. Teaching needs to be one of those areas that a stipend is given to the teachers in training. That will be something, because there are a lot of people, you're brilliant, but you just don't have the means to pursue, tertiary education. We need to ensure that we're able to engage them. It's not about the family you're from, it is their ability to positively impact the system. So I believe we need to have a clear path towards higher education. Other high quality healthcare. So we need to ensure that what the healthcare packages for teachers, people say, you know what, although I don't get the highest salary, but at the end of the day, I'm able to access high quality healthcare.
Yeah.
And so we
Absolutely.
have to start looking at it within that construct.
Absolutely,
Um,
absolutely. So much to really consider because this thing, as I said earlier on, is very extensive when you really think of it. But as we wrap the show, Dr. Smith, because we know that it takes a village. So what can parents and guardians do to help to, you know, alleviate the stress of the classroom?
I beg you to come on board. Let us start this national movement towards go fund public education. Let's apply pressure to our two political parties and their leaders to put on the table policies, clear strategies that will help to ensure that every single child in this country is taught by a highly qualified and highly skilled teachers. And at the end of the day, ensuring that we're able to retain our brightest and our smartest minds to enter the teaching cohort so that we can help to provide the highest quality of education. I must also squeeze in, I know you're pressed for time, the idea that I've really looked at the idea of us having bilateral, multilateral discussion with some of these countries that need teachers. So it is more coordinated in terms of how we could put a teacher rotation model where teachers are able to, by entering this particular program, you're able to go overseas. And because of bilateral or multilateral arrangements, you're able to go, you're able to spend 2, 3, 4 years, come back to Jamaica, it allows you to earn at a higher rate, but then you're able to carry that expertise, that experience back into our system. I think that there are opportunities, but we have to be creative. We are just folding our arms and saying, boy, we're a small island state, there's nothing we can do. No, we have to leverage technology. We have to be very skillful and strategic in terms of finding ways to ensure that teaching continues to be, the driving force for economic transformation.
Absolutely.
Leave it this quote from American journalist Walter Cronkite, and he said, whatever the cost of our libraries, the price is cheap compared to what that of an ignorant nation would be. And I said the same thing, whatever the cost of providing high quality education, ensuring that all teachers are, well remunerated and supported, and all schools are well funded, it is cheap compared to the cost of an ignorant Jamaica. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow.
Wow.
Wow. That's all
Yeah.
we can say. Boy. Dr. Smith, thank you so much for being a part of the show
Thank
this
you so
evening. We
much.
are very, very grateful. And we wish you all the very best. We know that you're a champion in the cause for the teachers of the nation, and we look forward to the rewards that you will reap from doing this, not just for yourself, but for the teachers at large. So thanks again for being a part of the
I
show.
beg you to do one thing, please. Join us on this campaign. If you go to the JTA's social media official JTA Instagram, like, sure. Let's draw some attention to this. Let's move on to education.
All right, all right. So there you have it, Jamaica. Please visit the JTA social media platforms and join the movement. Next week, we have Stay in the Course in Education. You don't want to miss that. So you want to tune in next week, same time at 5:30 p.m. As we explore that. Special thanks to our team members, Dr. Nadine Blair, Jermaine Johnson, Shania Smith, Daniel Cox, and David Sutton, Miss Eden Palmer, Ruth Lawrence, and Camille Lawrence. Raquel Robertson, thank you so much for all that you do behind the scenes. To our wonderful guests, thank you for making it Campus Connection. We just heard from Dr. Smith, President of the Jamaica Teachers Association. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you again. We can't thank you enough. But that's it for our show this week. Campus Connection was brought to you by Heart NSTA Trust. Skill is power. See you next week as we explore more things while going on campus. I'm Jonathan Fletcher.
And I'm Anesta. We'll see you next week.
The next episode of the Mailbox, we will be looking at leading from the basement. Leadership from the basement is a